Hello everyone, welcome back to Young Researchers. In today's video, we will discuss about paper submission workflow. When we submit a paper to a journal, then from which steps our paper will pass and what happened to each step we will discuss in detail step by step. So either you are a experienced researcher or a new researcher in this field, this video will help you in complete understanding of what to expect from the journal after the submission process and how the process goes. So let's get started. In previous videos of this playlist, we have discussed about selecting journals and registration for a journal and the paper submission process. And the first step is of paper submission is that you have to log into the editorial site of the journal, and there you will upload all the required files and update all the author details and contributing details. And once the paper is submitted, it will then go to the journal administrator. So journal administrator, we can also say that it is the gatekeeper, that if journal administrator is okay, then the paper will go to the editor. Otherwise you will receive the paper back. And why you will receive the paper back, we will discuss here, that what the journal administrator checked in your paper and what are his duties and responsibilities. So basically, the journal administrator, first of all, when you upload files and submit the paper, it is first go to the journal administrator, and he is responsible for checking that have you uploaded all the required files. Required files may include main paper file, your figure file, table file, supplementary file, any graphical abstract, highlights, and any other material. Like in some journals, they also make a cover letter as the mandatory file to upload during the submission process. And all the required files that are that you have submitted, are they okay? Are they in correct format? Like for example, if you have to upload the PNG form of graphical abstract, then journal administrator will check either you have uploaded graphical abstract in Excel sheet or PNG or in any PowerPoint form or in any other format. So he basically do technical check on your files and responsible for getting information have you submitted all the required files. And after that he will do formatting checking. Formatting checking mean it check your paper that have you ensured or completely followed the author guidelines for the journal. If you have if you have not followed directly the author guidelines that the journal asks you to follow before the submission process, then it will be resent to you on your mail, and you have to do all those formatting guidance, follow formatting guidance like font size, font style, line spacing, continuous line spacing on the page numbers, and references style. In addition to this, numbering of headings, subheadings, you have to follow all these instructions that are mentioned on the journal site. In addition to this, have you mentioned the exact detail of corresponding author and all the co-authors, their email address, their affiliation, abstract, graphical abstract, keywords, introduction, like each and everything. Journal administrator first he will analyze your paper according to the formatting guideline as well. After that, once all these checks are done, he then conduct the plagiarism checking of your paper. He also do a simple plagiarism checking as well as AI plagiarism. If your file is plagiarized, he will send you an email that showing with plagiarism report as well, and ask you to revise your paper and to remove the plagiarism so that you can resubmit your file again. Okay, so uh, once you are going to upload all files, you have to make sure that the plagiarism, AI plagiarism of your file must be 0, and the simple plagiarism of the from literature, it must also be less than 15%, and if it is less than 10%, it is very good then. Okay, so the next step is journal scope. He matches the title and the main theme of your paper with the journal scope. This is the initial checkup of the journal scope. After that, after the in journal administrator, editor will also match your key theme of your paper with the general scope, and if it falls within the scope, then it will go to peer review process. We will discuss in the coming steps about the review and editor roles. Okay, so the first initial general scope checkup is done by the general administrator. After that, it will check ethical compliance, if there is need of any ethical approval, if that study is based on the medical issues or human based experiments, like you have conducted experiment on the human beings in hospitals and any other things. For that, you have to take the ethical approval from the hospital or the institute where you are conducting that uh, human beings experiment. So if your study is related to that, you have to upload the ethical approval letter from the institution as well, and the general administrator will also check this. If you are conducting a lab scale study like on chemicals and water treatment and any other topic, then you don't need to do any ethical compliance. Okay, the next one is general specific requirements. If you have followed all the author guidelines regarding resolution of images uploaded in the file or in graphical abstract, table, figure file, cover letter, and these things, if you have prepared them according to the general guideline, then it will go to the it will pass through the general administrator check, and it will go to the editor. So the main thing here is editor's role, and what editor do with your paper, and what is the decision of the editor regarding your paper. We will discuss it now. So the editor first role is to match the scope of your paper with the journal scope, and once your paper fall within the scope and aims of the journal, then it will then undergo the first quality check. So in first initial quality check, the editor will check the novelty of your paper, or you can say like what will be the significance of your paper if it get published in the journal, and experimental design, as well as it also assess the result portion as well in a quick way, like just to overview the novelty and environmental impact and significance of your research. Okay, once the editor feel like your paper is good, and it conveys a new idea regarding the topic, then it will decide for making or for sending it to the reviewers. However, if this is the main crucial step in the submission process when you submit your paper, if the editor feels like the paper doesn't contain any novelty, and the study that the authors conducted, it already been published many times, or if he feels like there is no significance of the study, then editor will reject your paper in this step. So this kind of rejection is known as desk rejection, and desk rejection is generally common in the journals that have a very good impact factor, and you can say like the journals whose first decision time is less, like for within 4 to 5 days. If they respond to you, it means they definitely reject your paper, because the editor feels like your paper doesn't convey any new information, and it is not suitable for the journal. Then they will not send it for the peer review process. Okay, so and this is a good, you can say, like it, as it saves times for both the authors and the reviewers and editor as well. So this kind of rejection is known as desk rejection. Okay, in the next step, if editor feels like the paper is good and it needs some improvements, and it will go to the peer review process, then he invites some reviewers, and he send invitation mail to the already experienced reviewer in this field, in the field that is related to your study. For example, if your paper is regarding the biological field, then the editor will send email to the medical field researcher, and with the title of your paper and abstract. And once the reviewers receive an invitation, at that time they have two options. Either they can accept the invitation to review your paper, and second option is that they can reject, that they are not available for reviewing your paper. So it depends upon the availability of the reviewer and their willingness, either they want to review or not. Okay, so once they agree to review your paper, they are given some deadline, generally 2 to 3 weeks, to review your complete paper and suggest the changes that they feel comfortable, that before final acceptance or rejection of your paper, authors need to revise these points in terms of scientific language and technical language. Okay, so once the invitation is sent to the reviewers, then they are responsible for checking the validity of your paper, and they also check the significance of the study that is conducted. And if they think that the paper needs some kind of minor changes before acceptance, then they will suggest minor revision. Okay, so this kind of revision means there are 80 to 90% chances that your paper will be accepted. So if they feel like the paper idea is good, but the paper is not very well written, then they suggest major changes in that need to be conducted in your paper before its acceptance, and that kind of revision is known as major revision. And there are 50-50 chances that after revising your paper, either your paper will be accepted or rejected in the journal. So it depends upon how effectively authors respond to the reviewer comments and how authors um, revise their paper in a constructive and fruitful way. Okay, so they recommend a decision on your paper, either a minor revision, major revision, accept or reject. It is the responsibility of the reviewers that they need to provide constructive feedbacks regarding your study. They have to mention the strength and weakness of your study. They have to mention the headings, subheadings that need improvement by mentioning the page number and the line number as well. We have already discussed about the reviewers role and what kind of suggestions or comments they provide on your paper in our playlist regarding the reviewers role. We will provide the link of that playlist in the description, you can check. Okay, so once they have okay, the main thing here is that if the reviewer suggests that the paper will be rejected for publication in the journal, then editor ask from them that they have to provide the main reason for rejection, like for what reason they decide to reject the paper. And generally 2 to 3 reviewers are invited at the same time by the editor, and comments from the 2 reviewers are enough. Like required comments are considered as, if the 2 reviewers provide comments at their early convenience, then it will be termed as required comments, or you can say like required revision is completed. The third one is optional, third reviewer. Okay, so the final decision, again it depends upon the editor. For example, if 2 reviewers provide same feedback, like they say that the paper is good but it needs major revision before final acceptance, and they provide a series of comments, then after checking those comments, editor will decide that there are a lot of changes needed before its acceptance, so why do we need to provide them a chance. Sometimes editor reject based upon the number of experiments, that this paper needs a lot of changes and we are not going to continue with this paper. If you are going to resubmit your paper, you need to revise the paper by addressing all these comments, and you can resubmit in this journal. And that kind of decision is known as reject and resubmit. Okay, so here editor will give you an opportunity to revise the comment. Your paper is officially rejected, but still you have some hope that if you revise your paper according to the suggestions that are given by reviewers, then you can resubmit your paper in the same journal, and you can write in the cover letter to the editor that this paper has already been submitted in the journal, but it was rejected by editor, and the previous submission ID of the paper is this one XYZ. You can mention the ID, and then I'm going to resubmit paper because I have addressed all the reviewers comments that were mentioned in the previous mail. Okay, then then the editor will resend the paper to the reviewers, to the same reviewers or different reviewer. It depends upon the editor choice. Editor is not obliged to follow your instruction. Okay, so okay, the next step is that once the paper is resubmitted, it will again go to the peer review process, and it you can say like it increases the chances of acceptance or minor revision after when you resubmit, but we are not sure. It again depends upon the reviewers comments and changes and suggestions and editor final decision. Okay, so in this way, this is the first option, that your paper will be rejected and you still have the opportunity to resubmit. Okay, the second step is that your paper will be officially rejected, and editor clearly state in the mail that your paper is rejected because the reviewers are against the publication of your paper, and the reviewers in this case also say that your paper doesn't contain any novelty, it is not sound like a good paper, doesn't provide a new information, it goes rejected, and all these information. So in this case, editor clearly state or mention in the mail that your paper is rejected and you can submit in another journal, you can go for another journal. So in this case, you don't need to resubmit in the same journal. You can revise your paper if you want, but if you feel like your paper is already good, then you can select second or third journal or whatever options you have left. Okay, so this is the second case. In the third case, if reviewers feel like your paper is good, the idea of paper is good, and you have already explained everything in detail, then they will ask some minor changes to do. This is known as minor revision, and this minor revision means your paper has greater chances of acceptance in the journal. The fourth one is that major revision. In major revision, you can see a lot of comments, and after checking those comments, editor also decide to send to allow you an opportunity to revise your paper before its final acceptance and publication. So in this case, you have to be very careful, and you have to revise the paper carefully by addressing all the reviewers comments. So this is the case, and the fifth one is to accept paper with minor revision. Okay, so this is clearly stating by the reviewers that paper can be accepted once formatting issues, English proofreading, and all the some minor changes are done. Okay, so in the first time of revision, reviewers clearly state that the paper is accepted once these minor changes are done. So all these possibilities are possible depending upon the peer reviewer suggestions, but again the final decision is made by the editor himself, depending upon the suggestions he received from the reviewers. Okay, the sixth and last option is that the paper is accepted during the first revision process, and it is a very rare case that when you submit your paper is accepted in the during the first round of revision, and this is a very you can say like ideal case. No paper is too much good that it goes acceptance in the first round. If it is the case, then it means that either the reviewers have not completely checked your paper, or maybe they submit comments in under some pressure or in some favor, like these things when you know the reviews as well. So these kind of things, it is ethically and logically also not okay that your paper get accepted in the first round. Okay, so all these five categories: minor revision, major revision, acceptance after minor comments, rejection, and you can say like the rejection and resubmission option. These kind of possibilities are available when your paper goes for the peer review process. Okay, so after you received some kind of revision from the journal, then editor will send you an email to the corresponding author of the paper, that what are that you have this time period, like 2 to 3 weeks time period, and you have to revise your paper according to the reviewer suggestions. And in some cases editor also provide their suggestions to improve the paper, like regarding the references style or anything else, whatever the editor feels that the changes required in your paper. So once you receive the revised letter from the editor, then it's author's responsibility that they have to carefully address all the reviewers comment, and they have to make a response file as well. In response file they will mention whatever the changes they have done in their paper, and at what place, at what page number, in which lines, and how and where and why they have addressed all these questions. So they have to make a response file as well. We have already discussed about how to make the response file in against the reviewers comments. If you have not checked the video, we will provide the link in the description. Okay, so you have to address each comment and by making the response file, and then you have to revise the paper according to the suggestions whatever the reviewers provide for your paper. So once you are done with all these things, you have to resubmit your paper on the journal site that we have already discussed in previous video of this playlist. You have to follow the same steps during the resubmission process. The major difference here is that you have to upload the response file as well. Rest all the process is same. You have to upload the main paper file, table file, figure file, cover letter, and all these things, and updated the author list, like all information they ask. And the new thing is only you have to upload the response letter during the resubmission process. Okay, so once you are going to resubmit your paper, then your role is to check the plagiarism again before submission of process revised file, and you have to make sure that you have uploaded the correct files on the editorial side. Once it is submitted, it will again go to the peer review process. It's editor decision, either he will send your paper to the same reviewers that he invited for the last time, or either he will send to some other new reviewers. So it depends upon the editor's decision and the reviewers availability as well. If they decline to revise during the second time, then there may be possibility that editor will invite some other reviewers, third and fourth reviewer, for reviewing your paper. And if those reviewers feel, because those are new reviewers now, because the previous reviewers have declined to revise your paper because they are not available at that time, and if your paper goes to third and fourth reviewer, new reviewers, then they will it's if they think that you have revised comments according to the previous suggestions, then they will accept your paper. But if they think that no, you have not revised the paper, they will provide their own suggestions. Then editor will resend you minor or major revision depending upon their suggestions. But if they think that okay, your paper has been revised and you have addressed all the previous suggestions, then they will make a decision of acceptance of paper. But if they think older previous reviewers or the new reviewers, if any of them think that you have not fully addressed the reviewer suggestions, you have not completely revised the paper, these are the limitations, and you did not take into notice the suggestions carefully, then they have the right that they can reject your paper during the revision time. And sometimes the paper got rejected during the revision time, because if, for example, if you have updated the author list, if you remove some author during the revision time, if you add some new authors, 3 to 4 and 5 to 6 new authors during the submission process, resubmission process, then editor take this into consideration, and it's ethically, according to editor, it's ethically not correct that you will add a number of new authors during the resubmission process. Then editor will reject your paper based upon the illogical author list. So sometimes paper got rejected because of the highly updated and unethical author list updates, and sometimes it got rejected because the reviewers feel that you have not taken their suggestions seriously and you have not revised the paper according to their expectations, and in this scenario they have the right to reject your paper. And if editor personally think that you have not corrected the paper according to the standard point checkpoint, then editor can also reject your paper. And the fourth option is that if they both feel, editor and reviewer feel like your paper is improved after revising it after resubmission, then your paper will got accepted. So once they make a decision regarding acceptance and rejection of paper, the editor will send an email to the corresponding author that congratulations, your paper has been accepted for publication in this journal. And after that, once you receive a final acceptance mail, the next step is that PDF proof. Once your paper has been accepted in a journal, then after receiving the acceptance mail, after 1 or 1.5 weeks of receiving previous acceptance mail, you will receive another email from the editor that is asking about to check the PDF proof. That PDF proof, how to submit and what are the PDF proofs, we have already discussed in previous videos. We will provide the link in the description, you can check from that. So in this PDF proof you have to basically check the any kind of error, like if there is any minor error in the spelling or some notation, some equation, then you can mention and highlight them in the while submitting the PDF proof. The second thing is that quality assurance. If you feel like some figures have low resolution and figures are not correctly placed at their position, then you can highlight during the submission of PDF proof. And the third thing is that author review. All authors need to make sure that their names and spellings and the order of appearance in author list is correct, and their affiliation, their email address, their contact number, any other details of author, they have to recheck this while reviewing the PDF proof. And the fourth one is finalization, that if you feel like everything is okay with your PDF proof and your publication file is okay, and regarding author list, text, figures, tables, references, each and everything, if you feel it is okay, then you have to send final PDF proof to the publisher saying that you are okay with all the changes. And if they ask some author queries, like we have mentioned here author queries, we also discussed these queries in the previous video, you can check from that. So these author queries you have to respond to them that are asked by the publisher. So once your paper is accepted, it directly then goes to the publisher, and that PDF proof will be sent to you by the publisher. Okay, so once you submit your PDF proof, it will again go to the publisher, and when the publisher receive your PDF proof, it will start formatting your paper according to the journal format. What will be the journal format? Okay, so once your paper get started formatting according to the journal format, journal style, then in the meantime you will receive an email regarding the open access and non-open access publishing of your paper. So if your paper if you want to publish your paper as an open access, then you have to pay some article processing charges for your paper, and for that you have two options. Either we can generally say that we have different options, not two options, because you can pay APC charges by invoice, by asking them to send you invoice, and they will send you invoice PDF to the corresponding author, he can pay directly. And second option is that you can pay by debit card. Third one is that you can pay by your Visa card, and the fourth one is that you can go to any bank and you can provide them the details, bank details of the journal, and from bank account you can also transfer money to the journal home page or whatever the information they provide you for paying the APC charges. Okay, so in this way you can first you need to pay the open access charges. Once you are done with the fees submission, your paper will be published within within a week, you can say, after paying the fee. Okay, so if you want to submit your paper open access, some journals are 100% open access, so you have to pay fee for that. While some other journals are hybrid, they provide both options, open access and subscription based. And if you want to go by subscription based method, you don't need to pay charges. So in this way you can select your publishing option. And this publishing option, some journals also ask during the submission process, that we have discussed in previous video, while we are showing you about the live submission process. You can check in previous video as well. Okay, once you submit your fee, your paper will be finally published in the journal, and after that you will receive a final email from journal. And that email, sometimes the journal editor send to all authors, sometimes it this email is only sent to the corresponding author. It depends upon the journal editor choice. So once your paper get published, you will receive an email that congratulations, your paper is finally published in the final PDF form. And then they also provide you a link to download the paper. You can easily download your paper and you can share your paper with your friends and colleagues. So once your paper get published, they also provide you a link regarding the downloading of paper. If even if you have chosen a subscription based method of APC charging, APC charges, still they provide you a link to download PDF, and that PDF you can share with anyone. They don't need to buy that article if you provide them that downloaded PDF. So this is the whole paper submission workflow. This is how your paper goes. And you can also check from here, like we discuss each and every step. First it goes to submission, then technical check by journal administrator, then it goes to editor peer check, pre-check. And if editor feels it's okay, then it goes to revision. And if reviewers suggest rejection, then it got rejected. But if sometimes it goes to those peer reviews who are suggesting, you can say, like minor or major revision, then it goes to they provide suggestions. It will again go to editor will decide either to accept it or send it for the peer review process. So if they accept, after revision it got accepted, then it will directly go to the copy editing, yani you can say, like publisher site will do some kind of copy editing. Then it will undergo English editing process, proofreading. And at that proofreading you will receive a mail for a final PDF proof checking. And after submission of final PDF proof, you will receive an email regarding the invoicing, like paying APC charges. And finally your paper will be published once you pay all the APC charges and once you have undergo all these processes. So this is the complete paper submission workflow from submission process to the publication process. This is the hierarchy from which we have discussed each and every step. And we have already discussed that what are the responsibilities of editor, reviewers, and journal administrator, and authors as well. So I hope after watching this video, your idea and information regarding the workflow system of the paper publishing from submission to publishing, it is clear now. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. And if you have any kind of queries, you can ask in comment section. We would be happy to answer them. And stay tuned with Young Researchers. We will cover some more interesting topics in coming videos. Till then, Allah Hafiz.